Hi there, my name is Rose Odell. I'm with the Masters team, and I was going to spend a little bit of time with you today just talking about the process of buying or selling a home, and particularly in this market, what it takes to be able to win your bid. And we're just going to sit down and visit. So if you're looking for a quick video, this is probably not it. This is going to be a little bit longer because the process of buying a home is quite detailed, and I'll try to spare you too many details to make you overwhelmed, but I do want to kind of go over the process from start to finish. So I got a cup of coffee. If you want to go grab yourself a cup of coffee, let's just enjoy this time together and talk about what it's going to take, kind of the things that are going to happen as you're going through preparing to buy a home and eventually buying a home, putting in an offer, and what happens next. So let's start at the very, very beginning. Everybody that I know that is going to be buying a home, they all start curious, wondering, I wonder what homes sell for. I wonder what homes sell for in this neighborhood. I wonder what homes sell for in that neighborhood. And they begin doing search. So you're probably, like most people, have gone online, looked at Realtor.com, Zillow, some of those other websites. And while you've been messing around in the website, you find different properties and you click on them. And some of them, you think that you're working on a private website and you like and favorite properties, and then all of a sudden you start getting a bunch of calls from real estate agents. So I don't know if you know this, but on the back side of all websites like that, agents like myself and others across the country all pay for ad space. We pay for leads. We pay for the opportunity to get in front of buyers. And Realtor.com and Zillow and all of those other websites are connectors. They help us find people to help. So if you are looking to start getting some research done, I'm going to ask you to be really careful on the websites that you are on, because as you submit your information to those websites and you like and favorite and request showings and all of those types of things, you're actually getting connected with an agent, a different agent, every single time that you like and favorite those different websites. So be careful, be careful. In fact, I probably found you by advertising my website as well, and you probably clicked into it from an advertisement from a property that we have listed, and it caught your attention, so you clicked into it, gave your information, and that's how we got you. So I want to tell you that not all agents on the other side of that click are bad agents. It doesn't mean that they aren't good agents. In fact, if we weren't paying to be in front of you, then we may never have the opportunity to work with you. So I want you to welcome you to our website, welcome you to our process, and I'm hoping that you're catching this video and just feeling a little bit more relieved that, okay, that's why I've been getting all these calls, is because I submitted my information to multiple agencies. So that's kind of where it all starts. People sit down and they decide they're going to check out properties. They get online, they start looking at different neighborhoods, they start looking at pricing. One thing that I would suggest that when you're really getting started is to try and find an agent in your area that's well known, recognized, or, you know, if you clicked into this website or any other websites, if you have an agent that's very responsive, that calls you right away, somebody that asks you questions like, when are you looking to move? What kind of area you're looking at? And they really seem to care about you and your needs. Give them a shot. Talk with them, tell them what you're looking for, and let them set up a search for you. That's really the beginning part of buying a home, is going to be making a selection on the area you want to live in and also the agent that you want to work with. I don't know if you know this or not, but buyer's agents, they work for free. They don't get paid until they close a deal. So a lot of real estate agents will start off working with you, and if you're not prepared, you don't have your qualifications, or you don't have a lender set up, they'll say, you know, you need to go get your stuff together. When you do, come back to me. So in that sense, it's super important that you do start beginning in the process of buying a home, start figuring out where you want to live, what agent do you want to work with, and what lender do you want to work with. Very few of us are able to just throw cash at a wall and be able to buy a home. So if you are one of those people, congratulations, that's a huge accomplishment. and you are so much easier to work with than it comes down to working with a loan. Working with a loan these days is really not too bad though. We have several lenders that we work with across, in our city, local lenders that we could recommend to you if you don't have a lender yet. But that would be probably one of the first things that I would say that you should do. Begin doing research and get in touch with the lender. And like I said, if you don't have a lender, I can recommend a very, very good lender that's local and is going to be able to give you the very best rates. In fact, I'll even tell you this. I had one client who recently interviewed 6 different lenders, some of them local, some of them were online lenders. I think one was like Quicken. There was a couple other advertisements that had been done online. And in the end, he ended up going with our local lender because our local lender not only had the best rates, but also had customer service that you just can't rival when you are going to go make the largest purchase probably in your lifetime. You want to have somebody on the other side of that phone call that actually cares that you're getting the best deal, that actually cares that you get to close on the sale of your home. So it's super important to feel good about the lender that you choose to work with, as well as the real estate agent that's going to be helping you to see different properties, helping you prepare your offer. You really want to get the best team around you. And so part of what we do as real estate agents is we make a commitment to stick with you from the beginning to the end. And I don't know how other agencies are, other real estate agents are, but I can tell you this for us. The Masters team is committed to helping you from start to finish. We want to help you seriously want to help you make the right move. If now doesn't seem like a good time for you to buy, we're going to tell you. If you need help finding a lender, we're going to help you do that. If you find out that you're not quite yet ready because credit, or you found something you didn't know before about why you couldn't be qualified today, we're not going to just drop you. We want to make sure that even if it takes 3 months, 6 months, 12 months to get you ready to be able to buy a home, we want to see you through the whole process. So I've had several of my clients that I've been working with over the last 6 months who maybe weren't quite ready to be able to buy when they first try to get their approval. And they've just been over and over so impressed that we keep calling them and checking in on them and making sure that they're okay and that they're still working towards their goals. So we're here in the long run, for the long run. So let's go back to process. The first thing, you're going to want to start doing research. Don't click into all those ads. You want to make sure that you get onto your real estate agent's website. If your agent has a website, if your agent doesn't have a website, then you might consider working with another agent, because those agents that are the most successful, they probably have a website, which is going to be able to link you directly to the MLS. The MLS is just called our multiple listing service. If you're a first-time home buyer, all these terms, they might not make sense, but a multiple listing is just the place that we keep all of our listings, and it shows whether they're active now or if they've been sold, and we're going to give you direct access to that. So my website, which you logged into, has direct access to that. We're going to set you up on a search to meet the properties that you are looking for. So if you're looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath with a pool, 1,600 square feet, we're going to be able to narrow down your search and make sure that you're seeing everything that you want to see. So research, get in touch with the lender. We can help you do that. Then after you get that approval, so as most of you know, right now we're going through a period of time where there is a little bit more restrictions on being able to show any property to anyone. So what we're seeing now is that we have to have a pre-approval letter in hand. We need to have a written consent that you're going to access another person's property. You're going to, in that consent, it says that you don't currently have COVID, and that essentially you're not going to sue if you get COVID by going and looking at different people's houses. So we'll have you sign that form, and then we'll be able to set up showings for you. Now, everyone kind of handles this part a little bit different, but for our clients, what we do is we give them direct access to their MLS. We share with them all of the properties that are available, and part of our system will actively monitor for homes that meet the criteria that you've been looking for. So for example, if I set up a search for you that's a 3-bed, 2-bath, and it's 1,600 square feet and it has a pool, then every time a home comes on the market with those parameters, I'm gonna email it to you. And we're gonna take the guessing game out of it and human error. I'm never ever gonna forget it because it's an automated thing. Every time something new comes on the market that fits into that category, my website and my systems are gonna send it to you. So your job is gonna be to check your email, look for those listings. I have the capability on my website to send those listings to you immediately when they come on the market, once a day, once a week, twice a week, and I think it's once a month. I think that's right. And once a month. So I can set up all of those different settings depending on how quick and how ready we are to getting you into a home. If you're one of those people that's about 6 months out, you're probably not gonna wanna get listings all throughout the day, every single day. You're probably only gonna wanna see them once a month just to keep an eye on what's going on in the market. But as you're getting closer, and especially in today's market where homes are just flying off the shelf, where sometimes it's only 2 hours and they've gone pending, you're really gonna wanna see those offers, those properties immediately. So we'll make your settings like that so you can immediately see all of the listings as they're coming on the market. Another cool thing with our website is you're gonna see not only just through email, so some people, email is good, but they don't always check their email all the time. So we have something for you as to help with that, and we can text you an active link to listings. So that link is actually live, and every 15 minutes it's updated and showing exactly what the MLS says. So if a property had received an offer, within 15 minutes, it's gonna show that property pending and it's no longer available on the market. So if you're not one of those people that likes to be in your email all the time, ask for the link. Well, you don't even have to ask for it. We're gonna send it to you anyways. And then you can actually click into that link as many times throughout the day as you want to, and you'll be able to see all the new listings that's coming on the market. So once we have sent you the link, you're previewing them through your email, you're previewing them on your cell phone, you'll be able to then select properties that you want to go look at. And that's where the agent comes in process. So you're going to be working with the agent to pick out, select the properties that you want to see, and then the agent's going to set up appointments for you. It's always best to give your agent, I don't know, I'd say at least a day's notice for a property that you're really wanting to see, because sometimes the homes have tenants in them and you can't get in that fast. Other times we can get a showing set up in just a couple hours. So as much notice as you possibly can is good, but when a new property comes on the market, what we'll usually say is if it sparks your interest, you want to see it, all you do is send us a quick message and say, hey, 123 Cherry Street, I kind of like that one, and I will go check it out, set up a showing for you, and usually we'll be able to do it by the next day. Sometimes we can even get it in sooner depending on the showing capabilities and what the restrictions are for that particular property. But again, most sellers are not showing unless you have an approval letter in hand and you sign that COVID, the property entry form. So those two things must be done as well. Once you go and you look at a property and let's say you fell in love with one, what's the next step? Well, we're going to ask the lender to provide us with an approval letter for that particular address. I'm going to tell him that you're interested in making an offer. He's going to provide me with that at the price that we're offering. And that's going to really disclose all of the figures for you so that you know for that particular property what your payment's going to be. You're going to know how much down payment you need. You're going to know what your closing cost is. You're going to know everything that you need to know to be able to make a really strong offer. While he's preparing those documents to get ready to make the offer, I'm going to be going through all of the questions with you as to what kind of offer you want to set up. Now, we can go into detail about making an offer when the time comes, but it's several pages long, and don't be overwhelmed. We'll go through each one and just make sure they all make sense to you. California has a lot of pages in their purchase and sale agreement, so don't be too overwhelmed. We'll go through it when the time is right. Then I'm going to submit that offer to the agent on the other side of the deal. So I don't know if you know this, but An agent like myself can show any listing that's on the market, not just my own office's listings and not just my listing. So we have access to every listing that's on the multiple listing, and we can show anything to you at any point. We actually sign an agreement when we become realtors that we're going to cooperate with all the agents that are in the community. So we show everybody's listings and everybody shows my listings. That's just how it works. It works really great because I don't know everybody in this town, but I do know a handful, and I can bring those handful to all of the listings that are on the market, and I can have an opportunity to sell them. So just so you know that's sometimes a question that people don't realize, is that we can show all the listings. And a lot of times, I mean, this is another thing that happens, is we have buyers who are really not sure if everything that we're showing them on the website, everything on the link that we're sending them is all of the properties that are available. And I assure you they are. So we don't just share RE/MAX listings, we share all the listings, and you're getting to preview all of them, and we can access and show all of them at any point in time. So just so you know that, that's kind of helpful in setting up those showings. So fast forward, we have now written an offer for you. The next step is going to be to send that over to the seller. The seller is going to have an opportunity to review the offer. And likely, in this market at least, they probably have at least 3 or 4 other offers that they're reviewing at the same time. So my suggestion when you're making an offer in this market is always offer your best. We call it the highest and best, whatever you feel good about offering, and don't think about this like it's a game. I know in the past, even just a couple of years ago, we could write an offer, make it a little low, and we could expect that the seller would counter offer us, and then we could counter back, and we could do this game almost where we're going back and forth trying to get the best deal. It's not really the way the market is today. Right now we're seeing buyers compete, but it's not competing in the sense that I'm going to offer this much, and then the next guy's going to offer a little bit more than me, and the next guy's going to offer more than them, and then they're going to come back to me. That's a bidding war. It's not really how it works today either. What sellers are really asking for is that when you make your offer, just to make it the highest and best that you feel comfortable with. And this is what I always tell my clients. If you're going to write an offer, make it an offer that you feel good about. And if you get it, you're going to be so happy. But if you don't get it, you're fine with it because you wouldn't have gone higher anyways. If you can always have that attitude when you're writing an offer, it kind of doesn't matter what happens because you're going to feel good either way. If you win it, awesome. And if you don't, well, then there must be another one that's going to be a better property for you that's going to fit into your terms. So keep an open mind. And then I would also say right now we're seeing buyers have to make multiple offers before they get one. Before they get one that they won, you know, and then you still have inspections, and there are a lot of things, reasons that you might end up not actually purchasing that property in the end. But to get your offer accepted, I would say definitely make your highest and best, strongest offer that you feel comfortable with, and then go from there. So let's say now, let's move forward. Let's say that our offer got accepted. What happens next? So in our contract, it says that we have 17 days to perform our inspections and that we can preview the property. During that time, we can hire an inspector. Not every buyer that I work with decides to do an inspection, like a formal inspection with a formal inspector. But I would say probably about 75% to 85% of buyers do a home inspection. I would say the biggest reason for doing a home inspection is just we don't always know. You know, you can walk through a home, has brand new paint, everything looks amazing, and once you move in, you realize that there's mold, there may be leaking pipes, maybe there's problems with the AC, maybe there's problems with the roof. I mean, who knows? There could be anything. So we always recommend getting a home inspection. If you're one of those people that is a builder, contractor, you understand your electrician, you understand certain aspects of building a home, then maybe you decide not to do a home inspection, and that makes your offer a little stronger for that particular seller. But it's completely up to you. And as an agent, we just always recommend that you do an inspection to help you understand what is going on in the home, you know, things that we can't see by just walking through it. I mean, and think about this. You're in a home for what, 15 minutes walking through and deciding whether or not you want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a property. And a home inspection usually costs about $350 to $450. So, I mean, wouldn't you want to spend that just so you could have some peace of mind that you have purchased or you're going to be purchasing a home that you feel really good about? So once your offer is accepted, you have that period of time for your inspection. We have inspectors here that we can recommend if you don't have one in particular that you want to use. It's up to you to pick an inspector. We can give you a list. If we do happen to find anything wrong with the property that is warranting work to be done or something that you're requesting to be done, it's really easy. By forms, we'll request that the seller make remedies or repair certain things on the house. Then it's going to be up to the seller to respond and decide whether or not they want to do that. They can say that they're going to do all the repairs. They could say they'll do part of the repairs. They can say that they'll do none of the repairs. They could say that they'll do a price reduction instead. So there's a lot of different ways to help negotiate through that part of the deal. So just keep in mind that that's where we really come in. We're going to be able to help you to negotiate the best terms for you. And you're going to really want to have an agent who's been through the process several times so that they know how to create the best terms for you. Sometimes the best terms is letting the buyer, the new buyer, do the work and really just getting a discount on the house so that you can choose the worker that you want to have to do the property. Or maybe, you know, maybe you're an expert at something and you prefer to do the work yourself rather than the seller perform the work themselves or hire somebody to do it. But every circumstance is different. So we'll talk about that when the time comes. Once that is taken care of and everybody's in agreement on inspections, then we move forward. Now, don't forget that on the back side, the lender is, I hope that didn't switch. It looked like there were some AirPods that just connected to my phone, so hopefully it's not connected. Anyhow, remember on the back side, you're still in the process of all of this, your offer being accepted, inspections. Your lender is still preparing your file to get you through and to get you money to be able to buy the home. So on the other side of me helping you with inspections and writing all of the contracts back and forth, the lender is preparing all your financial documents, all of the backing of where who they're going to be lending money to. They're going to be requiring things like your paycheck stubs, your taxes. They're going to require things like a copy of your credit report. They're going to be looking for bank statements and W-2s and all of those types of things. So you're going to be working on that at the same time that we're doing inspections. Now, the lender is also going to require something called an appraisal. And I'm sure most people who are looking to purchase a property realize that a bank isn't going to give you money on a property that's not worth what you're asking them to give you money for. So if you have offered on a property $200,000, but the house is only worth $100,000, they're not going to give you $200,000. They'll only give you $100,000. So they have to go through a process called an appraisal. The appraiser's job is supposed to be to help the bank realize that there is enough financial support showing that other homes similar to this one are selling for the same price or higher. So you want to have, you're going to have an appraisal done on a property, and the bank is going to be the one to initiate that. So as you're working on your loan and all of that information, the appraiser is going to be given the job, and then the appraiser fits it into his calendar, and he's going to go out, view the property, take pictures, make sure that everything is just the way it should be. And then he's going to come up with an evaluation number. And that number is going to be what the property is worth in his opinion. They're also going to be looking for little things here and there that banks are going to require in order to lend you money. So if you're buying a house and the roof is bad, likely the appraiser is going to say, the roof needs to be fixed, and then we'll be able to lend you money. So in our requests, we're going to have to ask them to repair the roof. And if they can't do that, then we probably can't buy the house. So there's going to be several things like that. Appraisers are usually looking for mostly just safety things. So things like CO2 detectors, fire alarms, all houses need to have that. Your water heaters need to be strapped. That is a state requirement as well. On most properties, if you see broken windows or peeling paint, appraisers are going to call that out. If you have exposed wires or handrails that are missing, those are also things that can be called on appraisal. And then, of course, it has to come in at value. And that means that whatever price you have agreed to pay for the property, the lender wants to make sure that other houses are worth that as well. So the appraiser has a big hand in all of this, and they really try to do their best, I think, but sometimes it doesn't always work out and the appraiser doesn't see the value compared to what you offered and what it's worth. So when that happens, then a couple different things need to happen. One, the seller can lower their price. They can go down to the appraisal value. The second thing that can happen is the buyer can bridge the gap between what it appraised at and what they had agreed to offer. So for example, if we had offered $200,000, the appraiser says it's only worth $195,000, then that $5,000, the buyer could still buy the property at $200,000. They would just be coming out of pocket with the $5,000. And sometimes that happens. It all just depends on how important it is for that particular property for you to buy as a buyer, and also how the seller responds to the lower offer or the lower appraised value. So there's some negotiation, there's room for negotiation there. The third thing that can happen is that the seller's unhappy with the appraisal, buyer's unhappy with the appraisal, and they no longer want to work together, so they can cancel the deal. So really there's some options if the appraisal happens to come in low, but at this point, this is the last major hurdle of the purchasing process. So once you get through that, I mean, then you're down the home stretch. So as long as your appraisal comes in at value, even if your appraisal does come in at value and there's a couple of items that the appraiser says, okay, it looks like it's good, but there's a little bit of work to do, we're going down the home stretch. I mean, we're headed to closing at that point. So if everybody can agree, appraisal comes in, everybody's happy, they're working on all of the items to get ready to close. The remedies, the work repairs that they already agreed on, the seller will be working on that. You're going to be working on getting your loan documents all together and anything that's required to obtain your loan. And we will be, it kind of goes quiet on the real estate front. Once the appraisal is done, you're working on your loans and the seller's working on getting ready to move, it kind of goes quiet for a little bit. But what's happening in the background is really about your loan at this point. The loan is getting ready to be funded. They're going to be going through some very strict critiquing of your loan. They're going to be looking at all the documents that you provided, make sure that all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and everything makes sense. And then once you get that approval, then everything starts triggering again. You're going to see something that we call a closing disclosure. The closing disclosure is for the buyer to sign. Now, the buyer is going to be signing what the lender is proposing or disclosing are going to be all your financial numbers. So you're going to receive that document. It's going to show you what your interest rate is. It's going to show you what your monthly payment is. It's going to show you everything that you need to know about your loan, and you're going to sign that document. Once you sign that document, that triggers everything else, and we'll have 3 days to get ready to sign our final documents. So in the last part of this transaction, you are going to probably be required to provide your last bank statements. You're going to be required to show anything new. If you had any big purchases or anything like that in the process, you'll probably need to show where those funds came from. If you had any major deposits into your account, you'll have to show where those came from. So we always just caution as you go into contract to not do anything crazy with your finances. Try to just stick to the narrow. Don't deposit loads of money into it, or take out new loans, or go buy a vehicle. There's just too many things that can go wrong. So once you've got in on the process, just stick with it until you're all done and closed. This has never happened to me, but I have seen other people who have gone through the process of buying a home. They get down to the very end, and the buyer failed to tell the lender that they also just bought a brand new truck. And now they took on $40,000 of debt, and they no longer qualify for a house. So if this is something that you're wanting to do to buy a home, don't make any other big purchases until everything is complete, and then you can reorganize your finances and go and purchase a truck or any other big item as you see fit, or even furniture. Don't go buy a huge bunch of furniture for your home until after it's closed, because if you take on some debt, you may disqualify yourself from being able to buy a home. And that would be absolutely devastating, to go through this whole process and then not be able to buy. All right, so after your closing disclosure is completed, 3 days goes by, your lender's doing the final verifications, they're making sure that you still work at your job, then they have the clear to close. Documents are issued, and our title company, who has been with us trying to prepare all of the documents for the county, they're going to be stepping in at this point, and they're going to reach out to you and make sure that you have an appointment scheduled so that you can sign your final documents. Now, once you've signed your final documents, we're still not quite done, because those documents are going to need to be recorded at the courthouse. Usually that takes 24 hours. Sometimes they can do it the same day, but only if you're signing before 8 a.m. does that usually happen. So on closing day, you're going to want to make sure and sign as early in the day as you possibly can. And then we usually see recording numbers probably about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we can expect keys and those types of things to happen later in the day, probably around 3:30. And our contract says that we won't get keys until 9 p.m. But the way that I normally write the contract is I suggest that we get keys around 3 o'clock, so that as soon as it is recorded, we're trying to get everyone connected to actually pick up keys and get you in before dark. So I don't know if you're, I mean, in the winter time here by 3:30, 4 o'clock, it's already getting pretty dark. So I always just like to have it set up so that you can get into the house as quickly as possible. Everybody's super excited to make that happen anyway. So we try to do that. Then what we'll do is that once everything is recorded and everyone is good to go, we'll actually go over to the property together. We will usually take some kind of photo that's like, yay, we're just finished. You know, you'll get keys, and then the house is yours. It's official. Everything is official at that point. Couple details that while I was talking this whole time that I left out that are actually quite important are this. So right before closing, right around the same time that the closing disclosure is getting done, we have access to the property another time to do a final walkthrough. We can do the final walkthrough. We can usually schedule it up to 5 days prior to closing. Usually we'll wait until the buyer or the seller has completed all of the document or all of the work, if there was work, and we'll walk the house to make sure that everything's completed there. And then, so that's one thing that I accidentally left out, is we do get a chance to preview the property right before we do that final signing. The other thing that I left out, that's a pretty big deal, is that in our offer process, we wrote the offer and we are going to put something down called earnest money. Now, your earnest money is really just your promise to follow the contract. It's the one thing that is it's the buyer's putting a little money on the line so that they are fair and continuing to move forward in their contract. It's liable to be lost if you don't follow the contract, but in all the time doing real estate, most of the time the buyer can get their earnest money back as long as they follow the contract. So you have that 17-day inspection. As long as you do everything you're supposed to do within that period of time, you get it back. If for some reason during your inspection period, you're unhappy with the property and you no longer want to move forward with it, we simply cancel the contract and you get your earnest money back. So what does that earnest money really go for? The earnest money will go towards your down payment, or it'll go down towards your closing costs. So it's not like the money just doesn't account for anything. You're gonna put that much money down anyways, so you might as well count it towards your down payment, and then whatever you owe for your down payment, you just do that less your earnest money. So that earnest money is actually due within 3 days. According to our contract, it's due within 3 days of our offer being accepted. So that is something that is important that I didn't say in the very beginning. Anyhow, so from start to finish, that's pretty much how the offer process goes. It's not that scary, it's not that bad, and we walk you through every single step of the way. I just want you to know that I probably have closed close to 200 transactions now. I've been in real estate for 8 years, and we know how to do this, and we know how to do it well, and we know how to negotiate well, and we know how to write strong offers well. So if you are serious about getting into a property and you're really wanting to make sure that you have somebody that can guide you through the process, that's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. And I have a team of agents that I train, walk them through different scenarios, so they're gonna be strong and able to provide you with the best service. So I just wanna thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I know this isn't a short video by any means, but it is one that's gonna help guide you through the process and give you an idea of what to expect. Now, I do wanna say this, is that every deal is a little bit different. So everyone comes with different financial background. Everyone comes with stuff, right? We're all people, and we all come with different scenarios that work out for us differently, and different sellers, and they have different scenarios. So through the whole process, like, I would say the #1 job of a real estate agent is to solve problems. That's what we do. So we're there really to help you solve problems. When we get to a place in our process where we're doing the inspections and we find out that certain things are wrong, our jobs as real estate agents are to find a way. Let's find a way to help you get where you want to go. And I think a lot of times, you know, I think some agents can get a bad rap that all we care about is closing the deal. And I want to assure you that that is not the case. We want you to make the right move. We really do. We want to see you in 5 years. I don't know, most people stay in their house for 5 years, but let's at least say 3 years, that within 3 years of being in their home, they still love it just as much as the day, if not more, than when they first moved there. So our goal isn't just to give you a number and get you in and out as quick as possible. It's to really help you make the right decision and help protect your interests through the whole process. So that's our goal, and we really want to work with you. So look forward to helping you. I hope this video was helpful. If it is helpful, make sure to give us a thumbs up, like it, subscribe to our other videos. We are thrilled to be part of RE/MAX, and we're thrilled to be your agent, and we just are honored to be able to be that. So thank you so much for your time. And if you have questions, you want to reach out to us, specific scenarios, we're here to help. Look forward to talking to you soon. Have a wonderful day.